All right, and we probably can go ahead and get started because I think most folks who are going to join are probably in. So let me launch my poll per usual, just to make sure you can hear me talking and that you can see my screen that says emails in the top left-hand corner. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, my name is Elizabeth. I am a customer success manager here at ActivePipe. I see some of my clients here today, so I'm sure you're familiar, but for anyone new, welcome. The session that we are going to do today is primarily going to be showing some examples similar to last week. If you came last week, we went through a bunch of different newsletter examples. Today we're going to go through a bunch of different examples of more unique, creative ways that some of our admins are using ActivePipe. So mostly around how they're using ActivePipe for internal purposes for a couple of different variations. So let's go ahead and get started. The first example that I have is from our partners over at Century 21 New Millennium in the DC area. And they do plenty of campaigns, to say the least, but one that I think is really cool and worth showing today is they have a automated campaign that they use for onboarding their new agents. So Lane has gone above and beyond, and he actually has 21 emails in this campaign, but it's very thorough. And the beauty of it is that it's automated. So as soon as one of their agents joins, he just uploads them in, and then they get rolling on this campaign. So I'll give you kind of an overview. He's labeled it 21 Ways to Elevate, a play off of Century 21, obviously, which I think is cute. And they are sent the first 21 days of the agent being a new Century 21 agent. So, and I've seen a couple different variations of these. Most of them do always start the same, where it's just an introduction to the business and kind of an overview of what they have going on. And then this one has a message from their CEO. And I've seen that from a couple different businesses as well, where they might have the CEO or the VP, whoever it may be, but just kind of a message from the leadership. I think you could also do it in like a letter if you wanted, you know, a letter from the president type situation. So he starts with just a general welcome, and then you'll see some of the other emails that follow are centered around like the core services, tools, and like benefits that they're offering their agents. So we'll click through a couple of these. I won't go through all 21. We'd be here all day, but I think you'll get the idea. So core services, pretty standard there. One that, of course, I have to point out is going to be, they have an email for ActivePipe. So of course I have to point that one out. And so they just kind of are letting their new agents know all of the tools that are available to them. And then can also include things like trainings or overviews. If you've already done a webinar with us, you can include the recording into the email if you even wanted to do that. So it's just a great way to make sure that your newbies are onboarded and are totally aware of all the different services you're offering them. And again, the beauty of this is that it's automated. So he built this once, and then it's just going to run for all of his new agents moving forward. All right, so that's the gist on that one. Let me move over to our next account. That one's Lane. Rush Realty, which is in Delaware. This is a independent brokerage, and Marcus is trying out some really cool stuff with recruitment emails. And if you haven't started to consider doing recruitment emails, the one thing I'll say to you is that if you're not, well, just remember your agents are getting recruitment emails from other folks. So it's definitely becoming more and more popular to do this type of thing. So let me show you some examples. This is his most recent work with us. And this one is fairly short and sweet, I would say. So he's got some really lovely graphics up top, highlighting their volume. And they only have, right now, their brokerages of 8. But I think, you know, these are some nice numbers. So, and then he has this message kind of basically pitching himself and their brokerage, and just sharing the message and opening the opportunity to have a conversation, which is the most straightforward thing you can do with a recruiting message, is share what you have to offer and then open the door to have the conversation. So he's included a meeting link that that you can set up a time to have a call with him. So a service that you may have heard of if you're looking to do something like this, there's a tool called Calendly, and you could easily create a link for something like that if you wanted to do that. That's his one. Now let's take a look at a couple others in here, because I think, yeah. So he also does something similar to Century 21 New Millennium, in that he highlights some of the tools and benefits that they offer, what makes their brokerage competitive against other brokerages. So that's kind of the idea here when you're doing these types of recruiting materials, is to, you know, how do you stand above the rest? So that is another example from him, again with a meeting link. I think actually that's kind of just a good call out to make for any email. Of course, you always want to have a call to action. So don't forget that even if you're doing internal or these recruiting emails, it's important to continue to have that call to action. So that's a great example of it. All right, we'll keep moving along. Pacific. So Pacific does a whole bunch of different things. I want to show you, they do an internal newsletter, and I've seen some success with this elsewhere. And I've seen internal newsletters from the perspective of the marketing team, which is what you're going to see here with Pacific for the most part. So internal newsletter from the perspective of the marketing team, meaning explaining the offerings that they have for maybe that month, or like new social materials that they're sharing. And then I've also seen versions of internal newsletters that people use in addition to maybe your weekly office meetings, where you talk about, you know, the listings that you just won, or, you know, what the movements are and things like that. I've also seen internal newsletters that go only to the agents within the brokerage that kind of recap those office meetings as well. So different variations you could do, but I want to show you their internal one that's called the Hall, and their marketing team does this each week. And you'll see they have quite a bit going on. So for them, this is a huge deal because it puts it all in one spot and simplifies and makes it way more easy for their agents to know what's happening, what's going on, when, and it makes it way easier for their agents to be able to actually get these materials, because what they do is they link everything so that the agents can download all of this material straight from this email. So it's all in one spot, and it streamlines, instead of having to, you know, put this in a bunch of different places, or for example, if you're using like an internal tool that might allow the agents to like click here to download, but that tool, a lot of times they don't have good options to be able to like see what you're actually downloading, right? And so by using ActivePipe, you can both put a preview in here and you can put the link to click here to download type situation. Now, you will notice that they do a lot of custom graphics. So like this entire block here is just a picture. So instead of using our own like text panel, they've just uploaded a JPEG so that they can have all their formatting like they prefer it. So things like their social options they've also included highlighting new blog posts that they do. I know a lot of you have your own blogs. Highlighting them in this type of internal newsletter is a good way to call it out, especially with ActivePipe, because we make it easy to share those types of articles, right? If you do any sort of quarterly reports, including that in your internal marketing, and you'll see again, we have buttons to do all of these. They even provide recommended social copy for when you go to make the social post. I think that's definitely above and beyond. And then they also put in highlights from recent headlines. And then down below here, they also do a, they do this in an email, and then it looks like they also do a lookbook of this. So a significant sales email that tends to be popular, especially for our luxury folks. I see that done frequently, where they build the email in ActivePipe that's significant sales, but then they also might have a lookbook like this that you could download. And again, they are a Sotheby's affiliate, so they have some other stuff going on. And then highlighting what they have posted recently in ActivePipe. Of course, I'm going to call this out, right? So if you're building and sharing content in ActivePipe, especially for those of you who aren't sending on behalf of your agents, but you are doing a lot of sharing to your agents, this is the type of thing that is great, because not only will they get that notification, you know, when you check the box that says, yeah, notify your agents that this has been shared, which comes from ActivePipe. But if you're doing an internal newsletter here that's coming from you or someone inside of the organization, sometimes it's going to get their attention a little bit more. So this is just another opportunity where you could point out all the hard work that you're doing in ActivePipe, like I know a lot of you are, to let them know what they can do, and that they should go in and blast that out. And then they have some print services. So yeah, you're seeing what I mean when I say they offer quite a bit. So it makes it a lot easier when it's in one spot for you to be able to download. I'll real quickly go through one more example of theirs. I won't talk through it as much, but again, we have, you know, what they're offering print-wise. You can download it, update on the blog again, and again, linking to all of those articles, more templates, what they've recently shared in ActivePipe, and a call to action there for them. It looks like they're letting their agents know to sign up for ActivePipe. And some more print options, and their Reside monthly newsletter. So yeah, the idea here is basically all the hard work that you're already doing for all of the marketing materials. Why not put it all in one spot and make sure that it's in front of your agents? Now they do this weekly. That's fairly frequent. I see plenty of other people doing this on a monthly basis as well. And I would say if you're new to this, that's what I would recommend to start with, is do it on a monthly basis. And then if the need and the desire arises, then you can bump that up as needed. All right, let's move on here. We're going to go into Glenn's account here. Glenn is the director of marketing at BHS California Properties. And he does a campaign that is specifically for potential applicants. And so let me just walk you through that. Let me make sure I get the order correct. I'm going to go into his campaigns. So you'll see the first one is fairly straightforward, following up with them based on their inquiry and providing a little bit more information. And again, a video. You'll see videos are becoming more and more popular. Definitely have seen a increase in including videos. So there you are. And again, we're highlighting features and benefits of if you were to join the brokerage. So I think that's definitely the overarching theme. Just show them what you got, basically, if you're going to try any of these type of recruiting emails. let's go through the rest. And you'll see his campaign here is automated as well. So he's built a campaign that as soon as a contact has this tag of applicant, then they're going to go through this series of emails. Let's look at number 2. And again, we have some videos down below. So fairly standard language that we've seen, but definitely in their brand tone, which I like. And then let's take a look at this. There you are. So that one just kind of wraps it up. So that's BHS Cal Properties. They're doing a lovely job with that. I think anytime you can, like, for a lot of folks, you're already doing like these type of emails, but you're doing them manually. So the beauty of this is that you could put them into ActivePipe and not have to do as much manual work, and you build them once, and then all you have to do is just manage the contacts, and that's it. So that's kind of the nice thing, is that you're not really, a lot of the times you probably aren't coming up with completely new concepts here. It's just that you're organizing it to make your life a little bit easier and get it in one spot. All right, the last client example I'm going to show is from Liv Sotheby's out in Colorado. And they have a couple I'm going to go through as well. So let their account load here. There we go. All right, over into the emails. They do a few different options as well. I'm going to start with, of course, their ActivePipe email. So anytime they invite a new agent into ActivePipe, they send this welcome to ActivePipe email out, which is kind of just the overview of the program. So I think it's pretty straightforward, and I like how they've like bulleted it into a couple different sections. So the first, they use Close as their CRM. So they explain, like, connect to your Close account to ActivePipe. All you have to do is click sync and it'll connect to your contacts. They also say if you want to manually upload your contacts, that is an option. And they link to, I believe this is our help article about how to manually import contacts. So always feel free to link to our support articles. You don't have to have your own if you don't want to. And same with videos, you could link to our own videos too. Then they offer a service program, a concierge program, where they offer a series of different emails that the agent, all they have to do is raise their hand, say yes, and then they enlist them into the campaigns. So they do that for, I think, a market report and a newsletter are the primary ones that they offer. And so they also link to the sign up form there. Then below that, they also have the our help video on getting started. Now, this is not their own version. This is straight from our support site. So if we've done a personalized one for you, you could certainly include that recording here, or you could, again, use the one that we already have in our help center. And then my favorite, per usual, is at the bottom. They have a section that addresses how an agent can get help if they need it. And the beauty of this is, that I'll point out, is they're not telling their agents to come to them. So this is them. They are not creating more work for themselves here. They're saying go straight to ActivePipe, email support@activepipe.com or use the help bubble. And I love that because, one, we don't want to make all of your lives more complicated as an admin, and two, that's what we're here for. We are totally here to take this support request. So I always encourage my clients, and I would encourage all of you, definitely direct your agents to come to us and to our support team when they need help. That's what our support team is there for. So I love that they put that at the end. All right, let's look at another one in here that they do. I am going to do, I believe it's this one. Yes. Okay, great. So they create, just like many of you, they create quite a handful of different emails and then share them to their agents, but don't actually send them out on behalf of their agents. They do some of that, but a lot of the times they're just doing a bunch of sharing. So they build these emails, and then in order to get better engagement and better adoption of those, what they do is they blast this out to their agents. So they get the ActivePipe email that says, hey, the marketing admin has shared this email with you. Click here to view it in your account and send it out. But then in addition to that, they themselves, the marketing team, also sends out this internal email. So they let their agents know, hey, this is now available. And what I love too is they include a preview of what is included in that email. And for them, of course, the most exciting part of it was the little GIF that they've included here. So that's the screenshot they've added here. So I think it's a really, again, like the dual, we're double teaming them from the ActivePipe notification and the internal notification, so that these agents will definitely know what's going on and what has been shared with them. So that's lovely. And then again, similar to some of the other examples that we've looked at, they're updating their folks on other marketing opportunities available as well. So there's quite a bit of ideas out there on other ideas that you could be using ActivePipe for internally or for admin purposes. So to recap, some of the ones we took a look at today are onboarding purposes, recruiting, internal marketing, newsletters or notifications like this, or in addition to your office updates where you talk about listings and what's moving. I've seen plenty of emails go out that correspond right with those type of ideas as well. All right, I did get a question. Let me double check here. Oh, someone just asked about the recording. Great question. Now, at the end of each month, you will be able to find all of our recordings of our webinars on our website. We finally have them all there. So if you go to activepipe.com and you go to resources, webinars, you will see, if you toggle to North America, you will see all of our recordings from previous webinars. You can even see even more than that if you wanted to go way back. And we update this every single month. So this recording is going to be on our website in just a few days, I would say. So definitely check that out. If it's something urgent and you need the recording stat, you can always reach out to our support team and they will get you the recording as well. If you have any more questions, feel free to pop them into the chat and I'll be happy to go over them. But those were the 5 different examples that we had for today. Let me check the Q&A. No, okay. All right, everyone. Well, it looks like we're good to go. I hope I inspired you with some cool ideas, and thank you so much for joining us. We will be sending out the invite for next month very soon, so keep an eye out. Have a great day, everyone.